Hey all, new day, new verse. We continue on into Isaiah. Today we're going to be picking up with chapter 47, verses 8 through 9b. And Father God, just thank you for this time. Thank you that you are God of all wisdom. Thank you that you give warning before things happen, that you stir us before, that you're just moving. You're just always getting us ready. Lord, shape us and make us new in Jesus' name. Your will be done in kingdom come, Lord. Seek you first, delivered from temptation and the evil one, subsiding and sustained, ere the daily bread you give. For you are more than enough, O Jireh. Amen. Chapter 47, verses 8 and 9. Listen to this, you pleasure-loving kingdom, living at ease and feeling secure. You say, I am the only one and there is no other. I will never be a widow or lose my children. Yes, both of these will come upon you in a moment, widowhood and the loss of your children. And I want to pause there, and I want to use an example from our own time, right? And I'm not trying to go for anything, I'm just using an example because I grew up in Utah, it's one I know well. Watching again, not going for anyone, just an example. I've seen a lot of the stay-at-home moms that are, when the kids leave and they have those moments to, and it's not necessarily that they're raising the kids, they've just got the downtime, the kids are off, there's all these wonderful things, it's really cool, and it's really nice, and living in luxury, and completely missing the person on the road. And one of the things actually that started making me really dislike religion was an event like this. It was a lady who had a minivan, and it was pristine and it was clean and it was really nice and it looked great, but she saw this person on the side of the road who was, kind of filthy and just left entirely, completely ignored. And there was another person whose minivan was just completely thrashed, and they came alongside and gave him a lift and didn't care. They're like, well, they need a lift, so let's give them a lift. And it was just so interesting to me seeing the difference, because the first one was a remarkably religious person, said all the right things, went to the right meetings, was an elder on the board, had all of this basic checklist, all of the stereotypes you could possibly think of. And the other one, I'd never really seen pretty much anywhere. They were usually treated like an outcast, but they loved the outcasts. They were always there for everybody else. And that's what struck me as the difference. That's the kind of example I want to look at for these verses, because this image hasn't really changed. The idea of, oh, hey, my husband is the best in the world, or my wife is the queen of the crop, and my kids are doing amazingly, they're wonderful, spits off the old block, or whatever, chops off the old block. The apple has fallen so wonderfully close to this amazing tree that we are as a family. Truly, we are the better ones. Everyone in the neighborhood can learn something from keeping up with us. That's the same pride that caused Nebi to walk around like an animal for 7 years. Keeping up with the Joneses doesn't mean a whole lot if you don't have the love of Jesus in you. And that's the thing. The cycle has always repeated itself. And God gives foretelling and forewarning of it. And that's why I love the difference between foretelling and prophecy. It's foretelling. Hell, here's the future. Here's the layout. Prophecy. This is what we need to go back to. We have a choice, and we've always had this choice. This is the same choice that Cain and Abel had. Well, Cain, Abel kind of just got brained. It's the same choice that Adam and Eve had. It's the same choice that Abraham had. It's the same choice that all of us had. And be the great people in the faith, or the person who thinks there's a poster child for screwing up. Been there. Pretty sure have the same t-shirt. Should have the weird tag in the back. We don't really think about it. And this kind of goes in tandem with the actions having consequences. If we live in a life of luxury thinking that this is the wonderful thing, it's the best of the best, look at what I have wrought, it's no different than the parable Jesus gives about the man who has this wonderful bushel bumper crop. And he goes, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to demolish my barns and build bigger barns, and then I'll retire and be set for life. And he died. And to whom did his fields go? To whom did his crops go? To whom did his barn go? It became worm food. Everyone dies. Not everyone lives. You can be on and alive. You can be off and alive. And I've known many people and been there for more years than I can count of being on, moving, walking, talking, breathing, functional, and being dead as a post. Lost in this religion, lost in the pride, lost in the actions of me thinking, oh, hey, I'm the better, and led to the consequences of being cast so far down. Even that became a blessing because it let me see. It let me, in hindsight and in the current, see all of those different places of grace and mercy and kindness and compassion. Sometimes the trials we go through are our own fault. Sometimes the trials and tribulations we go through are the end result of another person. And sometimes God is just doing something to get the glory. To have that moment of Deuteronomy law being filled in Matthew and Luke testimony. That woman with the issue of blood, who had all of these wonderful rituals and way of doing it, and when she sought by faith, was healed and made clean. Not because she could do the ritual right, but because she knew who could get her right. And you'll hear that from pretty much every preacher you look up when it comes to the woman in the issue of blood. Because the story remains the same. The invitation remains the same. It's an invitation to everyone, even if the body doesn't always show it. When you live in such a way of never being widowed, never losing your children, never losing a thing, pride goeth before the fall. If you've lost a child, partner, spouse, somebody who you love deeply, family, gone through losses of losing everything you think you are or who you are, the ultimate cracking and crumbling of yourselves till there's nothing there but the tiniest bit of you crying out, who am I? Good news. For those at the end of our rope, there's more room for God and His rule. When we are at those places of struggle, He is there to show off, and show up, and show out, and be given glory for who He is. So we spend all of this time looking at the wonder around us, but we never thank the artist. We never think about the person who made us, crafted us cell by cell, knows where every hair is, knows just how translucent every layer of skin is, just how quickly the pupils dilate, just how strong the muscles will be. God who said, I've made this one, and if this one will let me, I will use it for my glory. But I've given this one free will, and I will honor their free will. So if this one decides they want to be God of their own kingdom, I will let them. But there will be no other gods before me, so I will have to cast it out. Actions, consequence. Now, if this one will recognize that I made him, that I made her, that I did so because of love, and it wasn't a random event, and it wasn't just some happenstance chance. That 50 million, yeah, that one. That intentful one. People are messy. We leave dirt and muck wherever we go. We're dirt people. We're literally people of the mud. Genesis 1 or 2. He likes to make us clean. And more than that, he's a God who gets into the mud and plays with us so we can actually learn to be people in the in-between. So that the world can remember that the word humane is derived from human, not the other way around. That we would be a people who truly loves each other, the world around us, the environment we've been given. This wonderful place that we get to steward, the gardens we're called into, and letting him lead the way. It's all salvation through the cross and only through the cross. It's all a gift. Just receive it. Start with thank you and think about the awe and wonder that the creator of reality itself knows your hurt, knows the broke, and came to make it right. And if the voice in your heart says, I will never go through pain, I've never gone through suffering like that before in my life, I'm better than it all, the ass beating is going to hurt. Good luck. Mine did. I pray your doesn't hurt as much. May his favor be upon you. Know that you're loved. And remember, a humble heart is the one who receives. A proudful heart is the one who hears nothing. I'll see you then.